Oh man, that is awesome,
That worked out nicely.
dude. Happy holidays. We are way too close to Christmas for comfort.
I'm comfortable with it. I'm ready to get jolly.
So I mean, you've done your shopping. Then is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, of course, mostly.
Well, man, it is good to see you. Welcome everybody to another weekly whiskey on Tuesday. It's great to have you. It already feels like Friday, but we are here on Tuesday, as promised. We don't have a guest tonight, so it's just me, John, and I hanging out, and hopefully you are prepared for that. Some quick Our Bourbon news. Yes, the music went great with the spiced old fashioned. I thought that was pretty fucking awesome. Props to John too. He was 100% of the ideas behind both the intro and the music. But let's see. We've got I'm still waiting. So the vendor has the Russell's Reserve. They are ready to go.
It has landed.
It has landed. Stickers are in. They have been licked, stuck, and applied. So that should be going. I thought it was going to be this week, but I'm thankful. It'll probably be end of this week. Knob Creek are in. We're going to drop those at the end of this week too. Triple whammy. New riff is in at Sealbox. We will be doing baby photos. We'll like Photoshop.
That's on
like,
the outro.
John and I like in a bathtub at like the age of 2 with like old tub everywhere. Living in the tub. But yeah, so it's going to be a triple whammy this week. If they don't all hit by the end of this week, they will hit this week and the end of well, I don't know, probably beginning of next week. So Thursday, Friday this week, Monday, Tuesday next week. So should be a real good time. I think that wraps up the Our Bourbon news. How you been, John? Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man. Hopefully everybody in the chat is joining us in from the Weekly Whiskey channel. If you are still catching us from the Bourbon Finder channel or from the Take Review channel on YouTube, be sure to jump over to the Weekly Whiskey channel. That's where we're going to be doing everything moving forward. At the first of the year, we're going to cut the feed over to just be on the Weekly Whiskey channel. So
hell yeah,
now's a great time to slide over, get jolly with us, get weird with Christmas Cocktail. Yeah,
get weird in all one place. And this is just the start too. So like next week really kicks off the fun. This is kind of our business up front, party in the back episode where we like kind of slay away the end of like the really serious content for the year. We have a great guest for next week. It's gonna be awesome. We have a great guest for New Year's. I'm personally pretty pumped about that one. I know we've got some crazy stuff lined up, so it's gonna be a fun couple of weeks, and it's only gonna get better from here.
Absolutely, I'm ready to tear into some pretty good stuff here. Wrap up this dumpster fire every year the right way.
Dude, I know. 2020, I mean, 2020 has been great in some ways, but like it's just been a total garbage fire in others. So 2021, I think it's going to be a 10 out of 10 year.
Okay, that works for me.
We'll see.
Who knows? What do we get here? Lane's sipping on something here.
Penelope.
Oh, he's getting into the Penelope blend that we did. That's nice. Good choice, by the way.
That is that's a good one. That reminds me too. I actually have the very final bottle of the Penelope, which sold out last week, to send out to the panels. That's a good bottle.
Good deal. There's DJ. Welcome back.
Hey, bird.
So I guess we can crack right into what we got going on tonight here. Then may as well dive right in. So what we wanted to talk about tonight was sort of our contenders or selections for whiskey of the year, different bottles of the year, perhaps. I've got a handful of things set aside for various reasons. I don't really have like a narrowed down number one whiskey of the year right now, but I've got a bunch of things that I like and a bunch of reasons why I like them. So we got that going.
Sounds like you've got. I mean, so I brought a couple, but I think John brought quite a few.
I try to bring plenty of whiskey when I go.
I'm into it.
Cool. So do you want to break it up by category, or do you just want to kind of, do you have anything in mind on how you want to present it?
Man, so for doing my homework, I did not nearly enough. So I have 2 bourbons and I have 1 scotch. That's what I bring to the table. But I'm like pretty set on them. I'm pretty. Oh.
No, I wouldn't worry about that.
Oh, it's just you getting bottles ready in the background. I see.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Fancy. Yeah, so I have 2 bourbons, 1 scotch. I think one of them will surprise you. I don't think the other 2 will. And I think that you've got like, I don't know, 9 or 17 bottles back there.
Yeah, I've got a good baker's dozen ready to go.
Oh yeah. Cool. So I don't know.
Damn
Since
it,
you have the
Lane.
most, you wanna kick off?
Well, Lane's already trying to ruin everything. So yeah,
On
one of the first things I wanted
rare
to
breed rye. Okay.
mention was like if I was doing a craft pick, I would have to put the guys from Chattanooga in there, the Chat Whiskey.
Oh, did you try that?
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, good, good.
I'm
I
drinking it
knew
right
that you
now,
would.
actually. Yeah,
Go
you were spot
Chatty.
on. It hits a lot of the box I like. A lot of really cool dark malty flavors, some orange in there. I mean, that's really nice stuff.
Oh, good. And that's
So
the 111, right?
yeah, that's the 111.
Okay.
So that would be up there in the actually of all the craft stuff kicking around. That's kind of what I grabbed for tonight's share. I wanted to also mention another one that I've kind of been big on is the Bullet Blender Select. This one rates up there really high for me, just in terms of being a new line extension for them and a really cool overall product. Something that I thought was really good and checks off a lot of cool boxes that way too. And I want
the
to see
topic
them.
of last week's After Hours.
That's right. If somebody were an enterprising individual who wanted to, get their hands on more whiskey content, they could check out that After Hours episode in which we featured that.
Nice segue.
And I didn't just leave it on my desk and pick it up out of convenience. I did go seek it back out for this special event here.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks.
Brian, definitely try that chat. It's really, really cool.
Dude, I mean, it's like $40, maybe $45. Like,
Yeah.
Do it.
All right. So another category I wanted to touch on is so for special bottles, best bottles, anything like that, a lot of times, which you may end up finding featured in an After Hours episode, is single barrel selections. So I wanted to sort of mention how this would be probably the last year of the ultra aged Whistle Pig 10. So this is a 16-year Whistle Pig 10. So it's a product that's sold as a 10-year single barrel, but it's actually 16. And Knob Creek, this is a 15-year Knob Creek pick, which both of those, I think, we've seen the last of in 2020. So I wanted to kind of just highlight those. Like, they had a great run. I really love seeing those. I really love buying them. There's great value in them. I mean, if you look at a 16, 17-year Whistle Pig labeled as a 10-year, I mean, you can't match the value of it. All their LEs are, 4 times the price of these.
Or more, yeah.
Right.
4 times on a good day.
Right. So you look at that, and then the same for Knob Creek. I mean, Knob Creek 15 comes in a fancy box and costs 3 times the price of a Knob Creek store pick that is the same age and higher proof. So
talk to me about that Whistle Pig. Is that the May the Pig Be With You?
Which one is that?
I know you got a whole farm up there.
I do. No, I think this is the one you just sent me here.
Yeah,
this is May the Pig Be With You. Yeah.
Okay. Man.
I forgot which one I grabbed off the shelf.
No, that's a good problem to have. I have 1 pig right now, which feels inadequate.
I've got half a farm.
Damn.
A lot of pigs.
Jealous. Well, since you mentioned it, this is a good segue. I'll jump in here quick. So you're talking about Knob Creek, and one of the bottles that I actually thought was like super fun to talk about was, in fact, the Knob Creek 15.
Hey, all right.
Is it a good value? No. Is it as good as some of the 15-year single barrels? No. Is it a totally unique profile for the Knob Creek portfolio line? Absolutely. I think it's the most unique Knob Creek I've ever had. And that's why I'm kind of giving it a nod this year, is like, I don't know, this was kind of my like out of left field, like wild batter. Like, Beam is used to doing the same safe stuff all day, every day for years and years and years. And I thought it was kind of a big risk for them. And I'm glad they took it. I'm glad that there's still, I'm glad they didn't make 50,000 bottles of this, but I'm super enjoying it. This is, you'll notice it's pretty full, and that's because it's number 2 for me. So I actually was crazy enough to go and buy a second one, but that's one of my fun picks of 2020.
Oh, that's cool. I like what you said too, that, is it a good value? No. Limited edition whiskey doesn't need to be a good value. I don't care if it is, to be honest with you. If it's something that I'm okay with, either the romance of the release itself, is it some ultra aged expression? Is it, really unique in some crazy way? If so, I'm probably interested in trying it if I can.
Yeah, and that's like kind of where I was too. Like, I mean, I have drank a lot of Knob Creek over the years, right? Like, I've had, single barrels for years. I did like 50 single barrels in a year back in like 2018, stuff like that. Like, it's just super nice to see like distilleries going out and taking risks. And that's the same thing we talked about with Chattanooga, right? Like, Chattanooga will probably take my craft whiskey distillery of the year in 2020, which is huge because there's so many, but like they're willing to
A
do
lot
it
of good
safe.
ones too.
Yeah, and I mean Driftless is super tight up there. They were 2019 for me. Like, but like Chattanooga is like, okay, we know what to do safe, but also like, have you guys had Fig Amaro finished bourbon? Like, why don't we get weird? And
Yeah.
I think that is super great.
Yeah, I put them very close to on the same level as New Riff.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, just in terms of quality, not in terms of distribution or size or anything like that, but with what they're able to do with a really young product and how great it comes out, I think that they're showing a lot of promise, and that's really cool.
I mean, I think at 4 years, Chattanooga is just gonna be lighting it up.
Yeah, I don't see how they couldn't be, man. At whatever, just over 2 years, the stuff they got now is crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah,
Okay.
so 15-year Knob Creek, a big fan.
I dig it. Okay, so I hit the Knob Creek, the Whistle Pigs here. Okay, so one from a major producer I'm going to talk about is the Weller Single Barrel.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just really good. That's all there is to it. I know that it's one of
so
those things that nobody's able to really find. No, it's another one of those that if you're not in a control state, no, it's not a good value. No, you're not going to get like angels coming down from the sky to, bestow this upon you. It's not going to change your life, but it's just damn good whiskey for $50. I really liked it. I'm kind of bummed out that there isn't barrel information on the labels. It's really kind of opaque as to what the hell it is, aside from saying single barrel on it. It would be cool to see them do just a little bit more in regard to the nerdy details of, warehouse. Even just the warehouse would be good. Tell us something about it.
Yeah, it like kind of feels like a cop out, just kind of like Colonel E.H. Taylor single barrel. Like, okay, you said it's single barrel on the label, and we know that like you have to follow that, but like, help me out here. Like, let me just tell me the barrel number. Like, I don't need anything else. Just tell me.
Right, just give me something to make it real, making me think that this is actually a single barrel product.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it is really, really good. I thought it was. Had a lot of layers of flavor. They were all in one direction. They were all sweet, really rich, really good. I thought it could have used either a little more oak or a little kick of spice to it. But again, I mean, if this is a single barrel product, then we're talking about something that the next time I see it again, 50 years from now, who knows, maybe it'll taste different.
Dude, that's a great bottle. And I'm glad you threw it up because it reminds me of cinnamon rolls just so much, between like the light cinnamon, the dough, like that really thick, rich cream, like and
Christmas cookie type of deal. Yeah, there's a lot going on in that thing.
So
I have a little bit of it poured here. I'm going to start sipping on it in a minute. One of the folks in chat here, Chris, wanted to know something about the Knob Creek 15.
Oh,
here we go. What about the Knob Creek 15 release?
Nope. This is literally the one we were just talking about. This is the 15-year. It is not just a special label. It is a blend of barrels. It is my belief that they blended them to a non-specific Knob Creek profile. But yeah, $100, 15-year bourbon, which like it kind of feels weird. We're complaining it's expensive compared to the single barrels, but like it's 15-year-old bourbon in 2020 and it's $100.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at bottles from the live stream I did earlier with Dan Abrams, and we had a $300 15-year chicken cock and a 17-year $250 wild turkey. Like 15 years for 50% ABV bourbon in 2020 is pretty good deal.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not like it's just here's another LE that we rolled out. I mean, this is a, like you said, especially created profile for this product. Yeah. And it's good. So,
man, but good call on the Weller. You got what's next over there, Mr. Fun Factory?
Well, I noticed Eric also asked here. I think I lost it now. Oh yeah, Weller Single Barrel actually exists. It does.
They do.
It does. Of all places, it came to Maine, so it must be real.
That is the funniest thing to me. Like, you guys, it took 2020 for you guys to get Evan Williams.
we got Evan Williams bottled in bond,
the most ubiquitous bourbon that's ever existed. But oh no,
and Weller Single Barrel. Come on, we got everything that we need.
Dude, I don't get it. But that's bourbon, right? Like that's just how just how it goes.
That's exactly right. So Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, I talk about this one pretty frequently because I think it embodies everything that whiskey geeks like us talk about. It's everything we ask for. It's age-dated 12-year barrel proof unfiltered whiskey, and it's almost always very, very good. And when it's not very, very good, it's still good.
Yeah, I mean, any of the last 3 years barrels are just untouchable for
Yep.
60, 65
65
bucks.
bucks.
12-year barrel proof bourbon.
Available.
And they've dialed it in.
Yep. They don't do it wrong. And I mean, there's nothing about it that I could ever complain about. I mean, it's 65 bucks. I could get it. Geez, I would say 95% of the time. If I want one, I could just go into the store and get one, which I realize it's not like that in every market, but that's how it is here. So I appreciate that. And I mean, it's just good. So it makes my list.
I totally agree with you. And when you're not feeling it neat, boy, I mean, that thing makes a just like screaming old fashioned.
Oh yeah, with some of those dank syrups that we had from our buddy Dan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those go nuts with that.
Man, I miss Dan. That was
a fun episode.
If not my most favorite stream of 2020, that was a fun one.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna have to do like a highlight reel from 2020 stuff here.
Oh man, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's how Elijah Craig Barrel Proof goes for me. Like you turn around and like, oh, it's gone.
Oops. I don't recall drinking all of that.
How'd that happen, guys?
All right, so I'm down to just one left here. Why don't you go ahead and showcase some of what you got?
Cool. So we're gonna throw it in a little bit different direction. I have a Scotch whiskey. This is Glenmorangie's A Tale of Cake. Wow, that is some glint.
You would get cake.
Dude, it's so good. It is not my favorite Glenmorangie of the year, but I think it is the most special. This is one of my favorite whiskeys to be released of the year. The very first sip I had, I hated it. I thought it was terrible. I was very mad at myself for spending money on it. But it opened up really nicely. Tale of Cake is finished in Tokaji casks, which is a Hungarian late harvest sweet wine. So this is Glenmorangie. My biggest, they hit here and then they went away. So I didn't even get a backup. So I'm kind of nourishing this one, as you see. But one of my biggest gripes with Glenmorangie is their base spirit has this bitterness to it that I do not like. And some of their finishes have been weird over the years, but Tale of Cake nails it. So it's sweet. It's got, it's cakey, right? Like it's sweet. The Hungarian, if you haven't had Tokaji, search out some good stuff. Like some of the 2017 vintages have been really nice, but it's a really good dessert wine. It's not too powerful. It's not like ice wine or even port or Oloroso or anything, but I'm a big fan. It's bottled at 46%. I wish that it was at 50, but it's Glenmorangie, so it's always going to be 46 because that's how they roll.
Take what you get.
It's been a fun one. And I think I want to say it was $100. So it's not
crazy.
Once again, it's not crazy. I'm not.
Is it a yearly release or is this just like a one-time rollout?
No, this is a single year rollout. This is just like Spios or Malaga or any of the other kind of annual releases they do. But I thought it was really good. It comes in this fun kind of bottle. It's different. Like we're seeing tons of Tokaji.
Yeah.
Whether it's in Whistle Pig or some of the others, but it's going to be pretty close to Scotch Whiskey of the Year for me. I just thought it was fun. It was unique, and it really gave me something to enjoy out of Glenmoe, which I haven't typically liked.
Cool. I take that. All right, so I'll go ahead and dig up my final contender, which is going to be the Rare Breed Rye. This one for me has been a really fun product. Oh, I should probably turn the label a little bit there. Not that it's going to be in focus either way. Yeah, this one is, I think, a home run for whiskey geeks who we always want more. We always ask for more. When something isn't age stated, we want it. When something isn't barrel proof, we want it. We want to see non-chill filtered. There's a lot of like little check boxes along the way that we kind of all clamor for. And I think Turkey delivered it. They had a great limited edition that came out, their Master's Keep 17-year bottled and bond. I thought that was great. I really liked it. But for me, I think the Rare Breed Rye represented a little bit more, especially because I love rye. So I think it just kind of leaned more towards something that stood out to me as like, hey, look, this is like 60, 65 bucks, great tasting rye. And it's becoming more and more available. It's not quite there yet, but as this rolls out nationwide, it's going to be a contender for something that I'm going to always have.
Yeah, I mean, I could not agree more. It's been hitting here at 59. It actually restocked a couple, was it a month ago? 6 weeks? I bought 3 or 4. I sent 3 or 4 of them off. I think that's a great selection. And
I really dig it.
like, I'm never not in the mood for it. That's kind of the problem. That's why I bought a bunch of backups. Like, I'm like,
Yep.
"Oh, I don't know what I'll drink. I guess I'll just have some rare breed rye." And then I sit there like, oh man, like it's really good stuff. And then I put it back. And then the next day, like, I don't know what I want to drink. And I'm like, oh, rare breed rye is always there. And it
Yeah, man.
does good cocktails too. Like, I know we swear that we're not cocktail guys, and all the time I'm like, well, this is good in an old fashioned, but like, and I'll like a Manhattan made with the rare breed rye, I think is really good.
I don't think I've made a Manhattan with it. I just keep, I could basically just put a straw right in that bottle and just drink it like a fucking juice box. But
it's good. I mean,
I really dig it, man. It's something that I remember the first time I sat down with a pour of that to write up notes on it. I remember how impressed I was with it. And that, of all of the things, all the whiskey homework that we have throughout the year, all the things that we sit down and take notes on and focus on and spend the time to review. When I posted the review of that one, I remember really having it stand out in my mind. Like, it just moved me in a good way. I really liked it, so it had to make my list for special bottles here.
Yeah, absolutely. And like a good point too is that, like, I don't know, there's a lot to dislike Wild Turkey for, or just like, they can't compare it to many other operations for one reason or another. But like,
Yep.
we've been yelling like, please just give us a cask strength rye,
Right.
For years. And like, all right, so they're slow and they're late and they're not particularly like experimental in other ways, but like we got it eventually.
Right. We finally hit a home run with them, which a lot of times I feel like with turkey stuff, it's like, man, you guys, you ran that entire friggin' marathon and you stopped like 300 yards away from the finish line. Like, we're getting there. And I think this bottle is evidence of that.
Yeah. I mean, it is really good stuff. And I like, some people complain like, well, the bourbon's $40 at Costco. Well, you know what? This is different. It's new.
Yep.
Rye is expensive, comparatively speaking. It's not quite as easy to distill. Like, I get it. I'm happy. Like $60 still feels like a bargain for it.
Yeah.
Like,
It's, in my opinion, fair at 60, even up to 65. If it was on the shelf here all day at 70, I would maybe grumble about it, but I'd still buy it.
Yeah. I mean, honestly too, so that kind of has like the 1920 effect for me, right? Like the Old Forester 1920 is always $5 more than I want it to be, but it's always there. Like if this was $70 and always available, like, oh, all right, it's $10 more than I want to spend, but like, it's always there. So I'd be happy.
If you walked into that store too and you had $70 in your pocket and you had to get a kick-ass bottle of bourbon, that 1920 that's sitting there, you're going to be like, you know what? I know that'll deliver every single time. So
yeah. And like, I'm happy to pay a few extra bucks for something to always be around, right? Like if I want it bad enough, like, oh man, I want another rare breed rye, but it's $70. Okay. I'll throw up 10 extra bucks to be able to get it. But that's like the 1920 effect. Like, do I wish Old Forester 1920 was $50? Yes. But at $55 and always available, like I'll pay that $5 every time.
Sure. I'm with you. That makes sense. I like that. I like that way of drawing it out too, the 1920 effect.
And it kind of reminds me too, and like we'll get on this in a future segment, but like it's like kind of the Boss Hog principle, just like elongated, right? Like Boss Hog is super expensive, but if I really want it and have $500, like it's always there. Like
I've never, you can always get one.
Not been able to
you want to spend the coin, right?
Yeah, which I mean, I think is good. Like it's a luxury product to begin with. Like either I'll buy it or I won't. But it's nice to know that it's like they're waiting when I'm ready.
This year's is good too. I just dropped that review today, and I think it was pretty impressive.
I was reading that. That's a good one. I'm super looking forward to trying it.
It's tasty.
Well, that segues.
Is that all your bottles?
No, I have one left.
All right.
It segues very nicely because I was afraid you were going to throw this up, and you didn't. And it's the
Bottle and Bond.
It is the Bottle and Bond.
I almost did that, but I'm glad that I didn't, because that would have we should have coordinated ahead of time so that we wouldn't have overlap. But I guess we worked it out just right.
Yeah, like people are like, "Oh, you guys coordinate so well." And I'm like, "Newsflash, like we don't coordinate at all." But
coordinate,
kind of the fun, right? For like listicle stuff, like we love to do our own thing. But so I will admit, much like the Knob Creek, is this the best wild turkey I've had? No. Is it close? No. Is it novel, new? Do I appreciate that they did it? Yeah, and I think that that's worth rewarding. Like, I really appreciate the wild turkey is trying new things. Like, they only have so many arrows in their quiver, so to speak. They have this one mash bill, a bunch of warehouses, you know, there's only so much we can get. But 17-year bottled in bond for $200, 220, 230.
Yep.
You know, people, and it's like, this is trying to think of the right way to word this. So like people want Pappy 20, and I'm like, oh, that's so old for bourbon, or Pappy 23, and I'm like, do you know that you want a bourbon that old? And they're like,
right,
well,
yeah. If
I
you
want
don't
to
know what
try
you're
it.
getting into, that could be a spicy proposition.
Like 17 years in a barrel, like if this isn't too oaky for you, then like, okay, you kind of know what you want. But like, don't drop $2,000 on a Pappy 20 to figure out the like, ooh, that's a lot of oak, because there aren't other 20-year-old bourbons you can just go and buy, like you know, the Orphan Barrel I think has a couple, but those are expensive now. But like 17 years in a
Yep.
barrel, try it. This is not my favorite. It has a ton of tannin, which is great for some people, but like I appreciate that it exists, and like you can, if you wanted it, you could go buy it.
Right.
Simple as that. And I think that that's huge in 2020.
Sure. I'm with you on that one. And I mean, that is a really cool bottle in that it is unique. It's 17 years. It's bottled in bond. It's turkey. It's a lot of things that turkey hasn't done all in the same release before. Did you break the cork already?
No, I'm just saying it weighs like 9 pounds. So.
Yeah, you get like a solid brass head smashing device. Ooh,
Wow.
it
Sorry,
did break
that's
the
so
bottle.
loud. It's
Didn't
so
break the cork. I broke the bottle.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole thing, like, and that's the other thing too. I hate when people are like, "Oh, I spent $400 on this." I'm like, "Oh, you know, like the packaging is nothing, like, right? As long as the contents matter." But like for $220, $230, you're getting a 17-year bourbon from Wild Turkey, who's not known for value outside of 101, in a package that looks nice. Like, you know,
Yep. It's good too. A lot of really, really very rich flavors in that one. Like,
yeah,
a heavy amount of char, some smoke, citrus hiding in there. Like, I had to do, I think, like 4 tastings on that before I even dared to write my review, because every 30 seconds that sat in a glass, I felt like it changed a little bit. And every time I took a sip, there was something else on the finish. So, I mean, that's a real thinker of a pour, which I think represents a hell of a whiskey. I think I give it an A- just because there's so much going on in there.
yeah. I gave it an 88. I thought it was good. I thought it was very good. It is up. Shameless plug. It's on Whiskey Raiders with everyone else. Scored very well, just as the Masters Keep usually do. But and Lane, I think if you pop Lane's coming up, like,
oh yeah,
this is not exhaustive. Like, we have a little more whiskey to talk about. John and I both have our top articles coming out shortly, so there's some stuff that you mentioned. There's some stuff still coming up, but like these are 3 that I don't know. I've been looking forward to talking about them for a long time. You know, whether or not they weren't 10 out of 10s. I finally threw a 10 out of 10 for Hermogenes Tepestade, which is a mezcal, so it's not on Weekly Whiskey. But you know, these are the like the super fun things. Like I'm excited that people are getting experimental. I guess that's kind of, now that I look at these bottles, like it's, wow, I'm really glad Knob Creek experimented. Wow, I'm really glad Glenmorangie experimented. Wow, I'm really glad Wild Turkey experimented. But you know, that's where the good stuff is.
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, this is non-exhaustive. This isn't meant to be the end-all list for us. Like, here is the one bottle that's the best of 2020. I don't really know, with the mass audience that we're trying to reach with these. Like, we're not trying to say like, here's the best bourbon. Like, if you don't buy this one, then you're missing out. We just want to talk about ones that are, you know, our best bottles for whatever reason.
Yeah, and I mean, I've already picked my best bottle of 2020. I know exactly what it is. I can't wait to write about it. But you know, this is kind of the fun of it too. It's nice to talk and like see that, like, I kind of thought that you'd come up with some different bottles, but at the same time, like everything you picked, I was like, oh man, like I can think to where I was when I drank that, whether it was on stream or not. And like, man, that's good stuff, especially that Weller single barrel. Like, I still remember like when I drank that and was like, okay, like Weller, like you're getting better. Like you guys are nailing it.
Yep. Absolutely, man. Well, I think this would probably be a pretty good time to break this one off and just say, you know, thanks to everybody who joined in with us. I appreciate everybody who was having comments for us in the chat, letting us know what you guys are drinking, what bottles you liked. And I think overall, the last couple episodes that we're going to push out for 2020 are going to be very fun, very entertaining. I really hope to see you guys over the next couple of Tuesday nights at 9 Eastern. And also don't forget to check out the stuff that we're going to have rolling out on Thursday morning too. The after hour stuff is, we record them after these. So, I mean, we're releasing them on Thursday morning.
They're after hours.
There's a reason why they're after hours, man. Like that's when the shit gets real weird.
Yeah, totally. Well, I mean, this has been a great episode. Like we said, this is kind of our business up front, party in the back, right? So we have gotten through our business for 2020. And it's been a huge year. We started Weekly Whiskey. Like you guys have seen, Take That Review has changed. Like everything has gone crazy in COVID. So we're so thankful that you guys are dropping by to hang out with us every Tuesday. Now we have Thursdays after hours of dropping. I'm super pumped. We've got some holiday advice for you this Thursday. And then next Tuesday, like it kind of all lets loose. We have a great guest next Tuesday for pre-Christmas. I know it's not Christmas Eve, so drop in before you guys' families show up. Same with the next week before New Year's. I'm super pumped for our guests there. We go totally off the rails. And if you're looking for John, you can find him at the Bourbon Finder. This has been a Whiskey Net production. Very thankful to be kind of hosted through their infrastructure. And I'm Jay. So I'm at whiskeyraiders.com. You can find us at whiskey_raiders. We're having a good time. We're talking about all things whiskey. And if you're curious how these bottles are rating, go ahead and give us a shot. But John, it's been good, man. I can't wait for the Christmas season we have up here.
Absolutely, man. Very, very excited for what's coming out. And I want to say, again, thanks to everybody who tuned in for this. And hopefully we'll see you again next week.
Yeah. Cheers, y'all.
Cheers, guys.